Balu Kaka replied to Yug's question and said, "It means, Yug Babu, that at that time you were very young, so perhaps you don't remember when the Yakshini made Virat Babu her prey. We were fortunate enough to find Virat Babu's body near the river." Yug didn't respond to Balu Kaka's words. He quietly listened while crossing the river with him. When Vandana Bahurani received the news of Virat Babu's death, it felt as if her entire world had collapsed. How could it not? After all, a wife's world revolves around her husband. After Virat Babu's departure, Vandana Bahurani shut herself in her room. The mistress of the house tried to console her, asked her to forget him, but she never listened. Balu Kaka continued, "I feel that her soul had already left when Virat Babu died. That's what true love is." Hearing this, Yug's eyes welled up with tears. How could they not? In childhood, if anyone loved him more than his mother, it was his Vandana Bhabi. As Yug and Balu Kaka kept crossing the river, Balu Kaka suddenly stopped midway. Seeing him halt in the middle of the river, Yug became surprised and wondered why he stopped so suddenly. Before Yug could ask, Balu Kaka untied a knot from his dhoti and pulled out a small pouch. Inside were some small coins. He took out a 1 rupee coin, joined his hands, and threw it into the river. Seeing this, Yug's eyes widened in surprise. He asked, "Balu Kaka, what did you just do? Why did you throw that coin into the river?" Balu Kaka replied gently, "I didn't throw it, son. I offered it as charity." "Charity? What do you mean?" Yug asked curiously. Balu Kaka explained, "Son, in our Hindu tradition, offering coins into rivers is considered another form of charity. You must know that rivers are worshipped like goddesses. Scriptures say rivers are associated with many deities. When we drop a coin into rivers, lakes, or seas, it is like offering something to their divine form. Astrology also suggests that to remove certain doshas, people immerse coins and offerings into water." Yug nodded but then added, "But do you know there's also a scientific reason behind this?" Balu Kaka tilted his head, surprised. "And what's that, Yug Babu?" Yug explained, "In ancient times, copper coins were widely used. Copper helps in purifying water. Even Ayurveda says that storing water in copper vessels purifies it. When people dropped copper coins into rivers, they would sink and remain there for many days. Slowly, traces of copper dissolved into the water, keeping it pure. That's why this practice started. Nowadays, though copper coins are no longer in use, the tradition still continues." Balu Kaka smiled faintly. "Ah, so that's the reason. No one ever told me this." After this, Yug and Balu Kaka resumed crossing the river. Meanwhile, at Yug's elder uncle's house, his elder aunt Janaki and his brother's wife Rajni were in the kitchen preparing food. Rajni sighed and asked, "Do you think Yug will come here or not, Bhabhi?" Janaki immediately replied, "Why do you say that, Rajni? Yug is like a son of this house. After my Virat passed away, everything here belongs to him. Mark my words, he will surely come. Didn't Balu Kaka go to bring him? He will definitely return with Yug. I can feel it in my heart." Rajni hesitated and said, "That may be true, but if Yug wanted to come, he would have come directly. Why did he have to open that graveyard mansion? You know how much chaos it has created in the village." Janaki sighed. "Yes, Rajni, I know. That's why today a meeting has been called. But remember, when Yug was young, Anurag Bhaiya left him in a boarding school. Since then, we never kept any contact with him. No relationship at all. How could he return here when we abandoned him first?" Rajni frowned. "Bhabhi, it wasn't us who broke the bond, it was them. Have you forgotten his mother?" Janaki's face turned pale as memories returned. "How could I forget her, Rajni? She was the root of all troubles. If she hadn't been there, Anurag Bhaiya would never have gone to that graveyard mansion, and none of this would have happened." Rajni quickly changed the topic. "Leave the past, Bhabhi. Everyone knows what kind of woman she was. Now don't upset yourself." Janaki waved her hand. "Rajni, hurry and stir the vegetables or the masala will burn." Rajni stirred and said, "Yes, Bhabhi, I'm watching." While the two women were talking, Rajni's daughter Avodita entered the kitchen. She was beautiful in features but dark skinned. "Are you both just going to cook here, or will you also welcome the guests? Yugji has arrived," she announced. Janaki's eyes lit up. "What did you say, Avodita? Yug has come?" "Yes, Bua. He is standing outside with Papa and Uncle," Avadita replied. Janaki, excited, grabbed Rajni's hand. "Come, Rajni, let's go meet him." Rajni freed her hand. You go, Bhabhi. I'll finish this vegetable first, otherwise it will burn. Fine, I'll go alone then, Janaki said, hurrying out. Avadita followed, but Rajni stopped her. Where are you going? Rajni asked sternly. To see Yugji, Avadita replied shyly. Rajni glared. Then why are you blushing so much? Just say it directly. Janaki, overhearing from the doorway, chuckled. Why wouldn't she blush? Have you forgotten Rajni? In childhood, when they played house, Avadita used to be Yug's bride and he her groom. They would run around shouting yes whenever we teased them about marriage. Avadita blushed deeper. But Bua, that was when we were children. Janaki teased, children or not, why are you blushing now? Don't forget, I was once your age too. Childhood love has its own magic. She pulled Avadita along, but Rajni stopped her daughter once more. Wait a minute, Avadita. Come here, she ordered. Avadita frowned. What now, Ma? It seems you won't even let me meet Yugji today. Rajni looked her up and down and said, And you plan to meet him like this? Fix your clothes, fix your hair. Why? Don't I look good enough? Avadita asked softly. Rajni's harsh words struck her like a whip. Good? You've never looked good. I don't know what I ate during pregnancy to have a coal like daughter. Do you know how hard it is to get a dark girl married? It's already tough to marry off a girl, and with your skin, it's nearly impossible. Avadita's eyes filled with hurt. She was a talented, virtuous girl, but her complexion always overshadowed her qualities. Many marriage proposals had failed only because of it. She whispered sadly, What can I do, Ma? Yug has returned from the city. Maybe he already likes someone there, but still, we mustn't interfere. Rajni interrupted coldly. We'll do black magic on him. Only then will he be yours. Otherwise, do you think a boy like Yug will ever look at you? Avadita shook her head. No, Ma, I've never liked such things. Black magic is dangerous. But Rajni was determined. Stop arguing. Just tell me the truth. Do you like Yug or not? Avadita hesitated, then admitted softly, I do like him. Rajni smirked. Then if you want him, you must bind him through black magic. That's the only way. Avodita trembled. Ma, what do I have to do? Meanwhile, in the garden, Yug's elder uncle Dilip sat on a chair with his younger brother Sudesh standing behind him. Yug and Balu Kaka stood in front of Dilip. Dilip was a wealthy man, owner of a huge mansion and 100 acres of ancestral land. His power in the village was greater than even the headman's. Dilip twirled his mustache and asked Balu Kaka, So, this is him? Balu Kaka nervously nodded. Yes, master, this is Yug Babu. Sudesh smiled warmly. Ah, Yug, you've come, my boy. How are you? Yug bowed slightly. I'm fine, Mamaji. But Dilip frowned. Why did you open the graveyard mansion, and who gave you permission? Yug stayed silent. His face showed no desire to talk to his uncle. Sudesh chuckled. Come on, Yug. When elders ask something, you should answer immediately. Otherwise, people will say your parents never taught you manners. Finally, Yug spoke, his voice firm. That mansion was mine. I don't need anyone's permission to open what belongs to me. Dilip's face turned red with anger. So, what if it's in your name? The land and house are part of this village. That gives me the right to control everything here. If you want to touch anything there, you need my permission. Yug raised his voice. The village may belong to you, uncle, but I will never give up what's mine. His fists clenched tightly, anger surging through him. Sudesh smiled slyly. Yug, tell us one thing. You didn't open the second floor door, did you? The one sealed with talismans and charms. Back in the kitchen, Rajni felt delighted after hearing that her daughter was ready to perform black magic. She smiled and said, That's better. Now listen carefully. Go prepare tea for Yug, but not ordinary tea. Make him Vashikaran tea. Avadita frowned. Vashikaran tea? Just by making tea, he'll come under my control? Rajni scolded, Foolish girl, not ordinary tea, listen carefully. First, rub cloves and cardamom on your body, then drop them into the tea. After that, chant Om Namah Kamakya Devi Purushme Vash Kuru Kuru Swaha 108 times, replacing the word Purush with Yug's name. Only then will it work. Avadita looked worried. Is chanting that many times necessary? Rajni snapped, Of course. Do you think black magic is so easy? This is the Kamakya Devi Vashikaran mantra. It has immense power. Do as I say and watch how Yug becomes yours. She stood up. I'll go outside now. You stay here and prepare the tea. Don't let anyone suspect. Avodhita whispered to herself. But Ma, what if someone else drinks it?